If you haven't entered our Nintendo Switch giveaway yet, do so by clicking the link in the description below. Also, if we reach 85,000 subscribers by the launch on March 3rd, we'll give away this 10-inch Link statue from First 4 Figures. Remember, Europeans, you don't get this sweet-looking thing until May, so enter to win. The Game Informer story on Monday. Well, it was just a simple little discussion with Ben Reeves and Kyle Hilliard of Game Informer. Kyle got to play the Snow Peak section of Hyrule, and that's an interesting section by itself because it's a cold area, and when we think of cold areas in Breath of the Wild, we think, okay, it's gonna take off some health, of course, if we're not wearing our wool shirt. But what I'm noticing here in the video is that it's below zero there. It's absolutely freezing, and wearing that green wool shirt that he usually wears is not going to help at all. He's got to make some spicy food in order to get heated up and stuff. So that's going to play a whole lot. And maybe when he gets to hot areas, this could hint like when he gets to hot areas like Death Mountain, maybe he's going to have to take some clothes off, ladies, but I don't know. It's an interesting thing there. But what I find the most interesting is the horse combat that we see, where it just looks to be more precise than what I would think in Twilight Princess. I was just playing that game recently, and it just wasn't good. It wasn't precise. It was very like I was fighting the final boss Ganon, and it was just a whole lot of mess right there. But I'm loving what I'm seeing of the horse combat here. It definitely looks like it's more precise when he's just precisely stabbing the Bokoblin in the face, and it's excellent from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's definitely an improvement from the combat we saw in Twilight Princess, and it's also added a lot of gameplay variety. As you see, the way you handle weapons while being on horseback and fighting, say, Lizalfos, Bokoblins, it just added a whole new layer when it comes to combat in Zelda that we haven't seen in Zelda, but also in other RPGs. It feels really Western, it feels really modern, it feels like a next-gen gaming experience. The Game Informer footage gave a lot of information about, say, the Snow Peak area and how you need to make new recipes, chili cuisine in order to sustain in this cold area. Link jump into the ravine? That is a big question.
Because they wanted to save the surprise. I don't know why that guy. He probably did, but he probably didn't put it there. Who knows? Or he was requested not to go down there. But that's like, I really want to go down there though. I didn't expect to see a Lizalfo in a Snow Peak, because aren't lizards cold-blooded? I mentioned that in the video. It's interesting, but it looks to me like the Lizalfos, they have elemental powers that depend on what area they're in. Like this one had ice powers. The ones in the rainforest, they had electric powers. So I think the Lizalfos are gonna be more detailed enemies than they were in previous Zelda games, and I'm excited to see where they go with that.
Exactly, and the Lizalfos is a very tough opponent. We see that they can take as much as 6 hearts, especially the electric one. But I've also heard that the snow one can take as much as 6 hearts.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So it's pretty nuts, and it will be in many ways a survival game, especially in areas such as the desert, the Snow Peak area, and I bet Death Mountain will be something similar as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay, let's get over to our second news story, and why. I think the best way is for AG Enuma himself to tell about it.
Mm-hmm. 皆さんこんにちは。ゼルダの伝説プロデューサーの青沼英二です。ゼルダの伝説ブレスオブザワイルドでは本当に広大なハイラルの世界を作りました。せっかくここまで大きいハイラルの世界があるので、さらにさまざまな体験を皆さんに提供したいと考えています。ということで、 ゼルダの伝説シリーズ初めての追加コンテンツを開発することになりました。この追加コンテンツは2017年の夏と年末の2回に分けて配信を予定しており、発売開始は2017年3月3日を予定しています。追加コンテンツの概要はこちらです。この2つの追加コンテンツでゼルダの新たな面白さを提供したいと思っています。ハイラの世界において本編だけでなく追加コンテンツで長く遊んで長く探検して長くエンジョイしてほしいと思っていますので、どうぞよろしくお願いします。
Okay, just before we move on, I just must say that Agent is a lovely guy.
He is. I'd marry him.
He's a great person to just listen to, and you see the excitement, you see the passion he has put into this project each time he shows up, and how proud he is of what could be his magnum opus. But I've been already talking about my opinions about the expansion pass, Joseph, so why don't you share your thoughts to the viewers?
All right, boy, oh boy, I got a ton of opinions. Here we go. Man, for the people complaining, I hope you act this way when any DLC is announced, because don't get me wrong, when DLC is done horribly wrong, like in Battlefront, of course, $50 for the other half of the game, that kind of deal, that's when I get upset. But this DLC right here, this expansion pass, it's only $20. Most season passes nowadays cost $40 to $50, and this is the literal definition of expansion. It's not like you're not getting the full experience already. You're gonna be getting a complete Zelda game. This is Nintendo we're talking about. They don't release half-baked game. Well, Star Fox Zero, but other than that, they usually don't release half-baked games. This is their baby. This is their child. They're not going to mess. I don't see them messing this up. But that being said, the only problem I have with this, but you know, it doesn't help that they're being quite vague. Like, what does Cave of Trials challenge mean? And when they say, a lot of people complain, justifiably so, is the new hard mode. Now, a lot of people have been saying, like, why would you lock hard mode in DLC? I know Metro 2033, no, that was Metro Redux did that. They were like, they hid away a survival mode, I think, unless you pre-order the game, which is dumb. But this is a new hard mode we're talking about, not the hard mode. So, from what I'm thinking, this could be something akin to Master Quest, which I'm totally fine paying for. Because in the reason why DLC is so popular nowadays is because unless the industry wants to jump up the prices of games from $60 American to maybe $70 or $80 American, people would be less likely to buy games. So this is pretty much one of their solutions to make sure that they get their money back, that they make a profit. So I totally understand why. But then like I said, other companies don't have really good DLC practices. But this, other than the hard mode, which I do have questions for, I don't see anything wrong with this. It's only $20, guys.
Yes, exactly. It's a little bit cheaper than the DLC you had for The Witcher 3, which added huge expansions. The last one, Blood and Wine, was as large as a full game. I don't know if we can expect that from, say, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but the DLC Pack 2 adds a new original story, a new dungeon, which means that there is something substantial to this DLC pack.
Yeah.
But do we know how long the original story is, the new one?
The new one, we don't know.
Like on the second DLC?
This is all information we have about the second DLC. So yeah. What do you think? As my brother.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Even though people are complaining like, oh, you have to pay almost $20 for it or something, I think it's either way it's gonna be worth it, because you get a DLC, you get 2 packs, you get an expansion pass as well, and dude, you're paying $20 for it. You can go and eat or something, I don't know, do something else if you want to complain.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the point. It's completely free if you want to buy the DLC or not, and it's more Zelda. Everyone wins. It's that simple. So we even made a little joke about this whole situation which we might just show to the viewers. What do you think, Joseph?
No, I think we should save that because it's too good.
It's
honestly,
too good. It's too
yeah.
good. Wait for
They
the
need
Switch.
to-
Wait for the Nintendo Switch video coming tomorrow. You will love it.
Yes.
Okay, let's.
Alex Myers, you are a genius.
Okay, let's move over to the third news story, which was on Wednesday when Nintendo of Japan uploaded a whole new set of Zelda gameplay in their Cat Mario style news show.
What was the deal with that?
I don't know what to call the show. I'm sorry, but this looks damn ridiculous. But the gameplay is superb.
Yes, it is.
It showed some gameplay of the paraglider, some gameplay outside of the plateau, such as the lightning concept. If you use metallic armor, you can be hit by lightning. How cool isn't that?
That's cool, but you were telling me that that's not technically how it works. So let's play a game of Mythbusters right now. Like, weren't you telling me, like, if you're not in real life, you wouldn't be that susceptible to lightning, right? But it's Zelda. I know we'll let it get away with that, but whatever.
Yeah, especially what I loved about this gameplay showed how alive Hyrule is in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
You can see how Link is interacting with some of even the enemies. You see bokoblins chatting, bokoblins hunting, wildlife moving around, how the different times of day changes, and how this impacts also the overworld. And that is beyond amazing for this game. It feels so organic, it feels so precise, it feels so great. Especially since we got a new screenshot as well on Wednesday, which was published by the Facebook site of The Legend of Zelda, showing a mole, a donkey, and a traveler with a bunny shield.
Yes.
It's a bunny shield. I just don't know. It looks like he's some kind of merchant since you have the rupee symbols.
Yeah, and I liked the part that got me most was when Link was like a bokoblin was throwing a rock at Link and he hit it back at him, and I was like, what? That's so cool. It's the little things in this game.
Yeah. And apart from the little snippet of a screenshot that the official Facebook site of The Legend of Zelda gave us, we also got a little taste of what the storytelling will be in the game. And Adrian Numa said that there will be a lot of different emotions involved in Breath of the Wild in their exclusive interview with Game Informer.
Yes, he was basically all Zelda games have that sort of tone where it's supposed to be funny and just get all of a sudden really freaking sad later down the line, and it's a tone that I expect especially with this kind of art style. And even if Twilight Princess art style was dark, it still had those moments. What with the mailman? And of course, who can forget about Groose? Skyward Sword. I mean, the Groose is loose, and then Skyward Sword turned out to be the most emotional game out of all the Zelda games, in my honest opinion. And yeah, it was.
But then again, Skyward Sword had a ton of different other problems.
Of course, we all know this.
My brother wasn't able to get to the. My brother had so much problems with Fi.
Oh,
So did I.
The worst one in that game.
She's the worst companion. Like it's objective.
So the lack of companions in Breath of the Wild, apart from your horse or wolf Link, is a really fresh take on the Zelda formula. You will not be handholded anymore longer, and even the Great Plateau, which of course restricts you for some time until you finish the first 4 shrines of the Great Plateau, it feels more like a game more than anything. And speaking about news, Joseph, we also got these new 3DS Zelda Breath of the Wild themes. You might have noticed.
Yes. I have noticed, man. I need to get one of those. They look sick. They're basically the American box art, but on as a 3DS theme, and it's really cool. I love it so much. I want it now.
Yeah, I especially like that when you move in between the menus in the 3DS, also the artwork moves.
Oh,
That's
cool.
a very
I haven't.
nice detail.
Yeah, I haven't checked out the whole thing yet, but I'm gonna have to. And it's also like, oh hey, just a reminder, you're probably gonna throw away your 3DS once you get the Switch, but I know a lot of people are still going to keep their 3DS, and Nintendo's going to keep supporting it as they should. That's a huge install base.
Yeah, but not for too long because we need those games on the Switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're talking about probably making a new 3DS, like a successor. That's crazy.
True. Okay, I think that was mostly the news of Wednesday. Of course, the whole ordeal with the expansion pass. The reaction was terrible.
It was
by
so
the community.
bad.
When you see the number of dislikes on the video, I think the British one has more dislikes than likes. Which is
probably.
And it's like you're getting more game. Why do you dislike the video?
True.
Mm-hmm. And man, this just proves the hypocrisy that gamers have when it comes to Nintendo. Like a YouTuber by the name of Shokyo, check him out. He was talking about how, well, for one, there's hypocrisy on both sides. So I'm surprised nobody called me out on it because I freaking scorned Battlefront for having a DLC priced ridiculously high, but like, yeah, there's the Nintendo people that are like, oh, this is awesome, totally cool. Meanwhile, they criticize other people for other game developers for doing season passes and DLC. But then there's the people on the other side that are like, oh, okay, DLC is a thing, whatever. But then when Nintendo does it, they'll be like, oh, you were the saving grace, Nintendo. You are not supposed to be this way. What? Like, I'm sorry. The industry is evolving into this form, and you can't expect Nintendo to stay in the dark forever. Like, I know Nintendo's late on a lot of things, but this was bound to happen, and it already has happened. Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros., Hyrule Warriors. Where have you all been? Seriously.
Okay, it writes here that 3 gigabytes of available storage is required on the Wii U system or compatible external drive to play the main game. Storage requirements for DLC will be announced at a later time.
That's not that
Yeah.
much.
It's not that much, but then again, you just have 32 gigs on the... how much was it? On the Switch, you have 32 gigabytes internal
Correct.
memory. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, but I guess they are using the memory better or something. Yeah, 'cause-
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And I like how they're also putting it on Wii U. Like, it was a possibility that they would just go straight to Switch, but now they're doing this for Wii U as well.
Yeah, especially with the DLC. They didn't have to include the DLC on the Wii U.
Nope.
They could have said, okay, this is a Switch exclusive. If you want to get the expansion, then you have to play it on the Switch. But they didn't, and I think that
loyal to the
it just shows that they're not joking around with this expansion pass.
Definitely not.
They're not trying to screw you over, guys. So I think this will be great. Okay, let's move over to the news from yesterday. I don't think there was that much apart
Nope.
from, the review copy situation. You can tell
It's,
a little bit about what happened, Joseph.
Okay, so somebody got their Nintendo Switch 2 weeks early, and apparently this was an accident. How do you mess up that badly? The retailer, I don't know who it was, but then they had the gall to post an unboxing video, and it's just like, you probably shouldn't do that, just saying. And I think the same person or somebody on NeoGAF posted a UI guide, which we're not going to show on here because that's not a good thing to show. We don't want to piss off Nintendo. So there's that. I also haven't seen it myself because I want to be as surprised as I can when getting the Switch. So there's that. And also, people were thinking IGN rightfully got their review copy, but apparently it wasn't a review unit for the Switch. It was something they got it from Nintendo for something they were filming. And we were wondering that too, because if you see in the video, we noticed that the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild game that they were showcasing on the Switch was the 12S version, which is the demo version played at the Nintendo Switch events. The final version of the game is version 1.0.0, which they didn't show. But now that it makes sense, because I'm on the Nintendo Voice Chat Facebook group, and the general manager, Per Schneider, is there. He was saying that the unit they got was not a review unit. They didn't get any review codes for any games yet, so we'll see. But I also found out today that GameSpot, easy mistake to make. They apparently got their review unit for the Switch because they posted this really funny thing. I'm gonna post in the chat right now. Actually, they posted this really funny thing on their Twitter saying when you can't post any photos because of embargo, and it was this dude holding the box of the Switch rather like pretending to play it rather than actually playing. Rather than he's on the toilet and everything. Oh man, it's great. Hold on, I'm putting that in the chat room right now. You guys gotta check that out. It's freaking hilarious. So looks like GameSpot got theirs.
Yep.
And
but they cannot use it.
Mm-hmm.
They can't use it, and they can't show it.
Yeah, they
Outside
can't
of the
use
box.
it, but I'm sure they can. Interesting. Yeah, so that's a weird thing, and we don't know what the review policy is going to be for either Breath of the Wild or the Switch itself. But we're pretty sure the major press sites are going to get theirs sometime soon because they already have. When they'll be allowed to open the frickin' box, I don't know. But it's going to be a crazy situation. I'm worried that Nintendo doesn't have this all figured out yet. So let's hope they do soon because we're 2 weeks away. And man, 14 days. 13 days if you're getting the midnight release. So yeah.
And the UI looks really slick.
Mm-hmm.
For
I
the
saw
Switch.
that much.
Yeah.
I saw that much of it. Yeah.
I guess hope we can get a Breath of the Wild theme in the background instead of the white or black.
Exactly. There's basic white and basic black. I love it. There's like just basic. You basic.
Yeah. Because and also the deluxe edition of the Breath of the Wild guide by Piggyback. was
Piggy.
it? Okay.
Yes.
So you got the Sheikah book. You can finally own a Sheikah book in your life.
Yes.
So it's available at Barnes and Nobles.
You can buy this one.
Yeah, you can buy this one. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So
And it's-
you have also the price on the screen if you're interested. Just go to Barnes and Noble's website. Pre-orders are up, and there is also a little discount. So with that being said, Joseph, I think we'll be moving into the news of today,
Ooh, news today.
which is Game Informer once again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Those
about
lucky
Miyamoto
bastards.
and Aonuma on Zelda's balance of fan feedback.
Yeah, that's always a tricky topic when you're a game developer because you can't give the fans 100% what they want. Well, maybe you can and make them happy, but you know that EA didn't listen to Battlefront. I'm just ripping on Battlefront today. If you like the game, go right ahead. But that was always been an interesting thing because I was watching the video very recently. So I remember with the part where Eiji Aonuma said a fan told him that he wanted to like Skyward Sword, but he missed the big open world from Ocarina of Time where you could just ride Epona around. And so that got to him. This was before they started directing. He started directing Breath of the Wild. He's not the director anymore. Actually, the director of Skyward Sword took over after E3. So there's that. And they also talked a lot about Zelda 2: Adventure of Link. And I don't quite remember exactly what they all said because it was very recently when I watched it.
Yeah, it was really recently, and also Aonuma is saying. I know that both Eiji Aonuma and the team of Skyward Sword just realized that we need to go back to the roots of Zelda.
Yes.
The way the player gets lost in the game and explore the world by himself. Because there's been way too much hand-holding since, let's say, Twilight Princess.
So much hand-holding. Oh my god.
The last
That's
Zelda
what-
game I feel gave some sort of freedom of the 3D ones must have been Wind Waker.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even then, that kind of had some tight intro where it was you really were being told what to do, but it was not nearly as handholdy as Twilight Princess, as Skyward Sword, and I also like how this isn't a 3D game, but how A Link Between Worlds was basically a step in the right direction for Zelda as a whole. And I'm getting a lot, and I thought Breath of the Wild was going to be beginning similarly, like there was still going to be a little intro segment to get you used to the controls and stuff, not as handholdy. But then now it's like, nope, just go.
Well,
have
it's not
fun.
an intro segment anymore. It's an intro province,
Yeah,
and you can do whatever you want in that province.
exactly. That's perfect.
You just have to finish the shrines in order to move on. That's the only requirement.
Yeah, and you learn as you go, and I like that.
If you want to, you can play for hours without even going up to the Sheikah Tower and activating the shrines, which is beyond amazing. You can have, say, 4 to 5 hours of gameplay if you are creative enough and just joke around, shield surfing, fighting bokoblins, fighting items, or climbing. And that is what I love about this game. It will add so much more time just because it's so free. You can play outside of the main story, outside of the main path, outside of the side quests. You can make a game of your own.
Yeah. How long will you be staying in the plateau, Conrad?
It depends, because if I have to have no footage and I need to remake the Legend of Zelda timeline, I want to get the cutscenes as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Because this was a crowd-funded project and I want to get this video out as soon as possible.
Yeah, that's a conflict I'm facing, because it's like, yeah, I do want to see where the story goes. I do want to keep watching the cutscenes, but I also want to take my time. You know, I also want to take time to build up Link with some good weapons, some good armor, that kind of thing. And since we've been waiting for this game for damn near almost 3 years since its announcement. Longer if you count like since Skyward Sword. But it's like when we had the slightest idea of what this game was going to be, we've been agitated because they didn't tell us anything for a damn near 2 years. So I want to like take in all that. I just want to take in that breath of the wild. You know what I mean?
That's why we have 2 different game saves so we can play.
Yeah, and that's another great thing about Breath of the Wild. You have different game saves, and a ton of them. That means that, oh shit, I wish I could play that dungeon again. Yes, you can. And that's, I loved. They have done so much right about this game, and in the final episode of Inside Breath of the Wild, we will talk about how genius this game is and why it most likely already is the best game of all time, even before.
It already is the most important game of our lives, Conrad, because without that game, we would not be in this YouTube community we got going with the Chamber of Sages.
No, that's for sure. This channel wouldn't exist without this game. That's for sure.
Yeah, we spent so many years of our lives just talking about it, and it's crazy to think that.
And adding meaning to the long wait for the game.
It makes me wonder, what's life going to be like after Breath of the Wild?
Well, I think we have some expansions to look forward to. We got Super Mario Odyssey coming. We got a lot of Switch games coming. E3 is coming. So there will always be something to look forward to, Joseph. But I think we have been talking a little bit off topic in terms of what the guys were actually talking about.
Yeah.
When it comes to the feedback.
True.
Yeah.
It's a.
I can just read because I'm a little bit ahead of you, Joseph.
Yeah, please.
Okay, they're referencing the Adventure of Link here, so I guess they're taking the difficulty from that game.
Oh god, yeah. That game is brutal. I bet you Aonuma hasn't even beat that game, to be honest. He can't
even finish the original one.
That's crazy. I love that so much. Like, even the guy who makes Zelda games now can't even play those games.
I love how they say that Zelda is a game where you learn and grow. That is definitely the case in Breath of the Wild.
Very much.
Because you can get almost all kind of weapons before leaving the plateau. You can get the sword, you can get the shield, you can get the bow, you can even get the fire...
Yeah, you can.
The fire arrows. You can get you can get a pitchfork. You can get an axe. You can get so many other things.
Yeah, and I also learned
even the fire rod, which is a rather powerful weapon in the Zelda series.
Yeah, I also learned from the Snow Peak video that long weapons are definitely meant for horseback. We forgot to mention that because he was using a rake, and those are the most effective on horseback, hence the jousting. And I think that's really great attention to detail there, because you used a long weapon in your playthrough. Was it hard?
No, it wasn't. I think it actually helps in combat because you don't they can't attack you when using the pitchfork, because you use the length
You're using more time.
So it's
to-
both
to-
offensive and defensive weapon.
True.
And that's why the pitchfork is actually a pretty good weapon for combat against, especially bokoblins. I don't know about Lizalfos, but we'll just see when we get into the game.
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd have to be very quick when dealing with Lizalfos because they look ferocious.
And speaking about enemies, a new inclusion, or a much more extensive exclusion in this installment, is the inclusion of animals. The different type of animals, how they enrich the otherwise empty world and hostile world, because the animals do not attack you. Well, I've heard that there are some snow leopards and bears at Snow Peak.
Oh.
So yeah, I just can't wait. I can't wait for the wildlife.
It's gonna
in
be
this
awesome
game.
just to ride through, and then you suddenly, you're hit with a bear or something.
Yeah,
Bam!
say you're shield surfing, shredding down Snow Peak, and then suddenly a bear jumps out.
Yeah, the only animal we've seen that poses a threat is like a boar, but
Yeah.
man, a freaking lion. Crazy.
Anuma says he's scared of heights.
I
So this
mean,
is some.
it's-
He says paragliding is something he would like to do in his life, but he doesn't dare to do it.
I don't blame him. That's freaking scary.
It is. It is. Combine this with the brilliant Zelda mechanics, and you have a game of the best game of all time candidates.
Pretty much, but we'll go more over that in our last episode of the
In
season.
the last episode of the season, of course. So yeah. Okay, those were a few details that were mentioned by Eiji Aonuma and Shigeru Miyamoto, talking about their experiences with Zelda, and also what kind of importance Epona has gained throughout the series, and how they wanted to expand it in Breath of the Wild, including much more horses than only one, and different kind of horses, because you have different ranks for horses. Some will behave and listen to Link, others will not. Some are faster, some are stronger, have more health points, and horses can die in Breath of the Wild.
They can, and it's so sad.
But then again, you can just get new ones, and it's not
That's
that
true.
hard to get new ones,
Yeah.
because you just need to use the stealth mechanics and
And that's so good. You're like in Witcher, for example, you're stuck with one horse, right?
yeah, and that horse is a complete dumbass.
Yeah. And you feel
Oh
like,
man.
I don't know, even though the horse looks different, you feel that it also brings in a new personality too. So you just, I don't know, experience the game in a different manner. It gets better with a new horse. You can just switch up things. You can play the game as you want it to. So
And you gotta give Roach credit. I mean, the horse in The Witcher. You gotta give him credit. He can breathe underwater and just and man, that's the thing. When the first two horses I'm getting. Gonna find a brown horse, name it Roach. Gonna find a white horse, call it D horse. Metal Gear. Yes, it's gonna be great.
Metal Gear, correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Then you have all the guardians in the world. You got the shrines.
Oh,
You
this
got
one is-
the towns. You got all the different races. This will definitely be the best Zelda game. Joseph.
are you gonna
Oh
have
yeah,
horses?
like even if the Zelda game after it, I don't think the Zelda game after it is even gonna be like, will it be better mechanically? Probably, but it's like Ocarina of Time. Like a lot of people consider that the best Zelda game and their favorite because of what it did for the Zelda games after. This is the game that's going to change Zelda games after. And who knows? Maybe we'll see a Zelda game in like 10 to 20 years that's going to have a similar effect that Breath of the Wild and Ocarina of Time had on the franchise. And that's going to be crazy, and we're going to have kids and have no time to play games. So yeah.
Well, it depends. It depends, Joseph, of course, because
If you have kids.
I think that Zelda is a game franchise that is good for all ages.
Yes, it is.
The story, the type of gameplay you have. Yes, you might not have blood in it, but who needs blood to have good storytelling, good gameplay,
The effects are cool.
arrow time effects, and so on. There's just so much to talk about in this game, and
So much.
we'll get into specifics and in a much more professional manner than we do just rambling about here in the season finale of Inside Zelda Breath of the Wild. But also, I'm also working on getting assets for season 2, which will be, quite an improvement from this season. I will not say much more apart from it. But
Yes.
you might get some more details in between videos if you check out our Twitter and our Discord server. And I think there should be a link to it in one of the videos at least.
Yes, it is. There's also one in the description of this stream right now.
Yeah, there's a link in the description so you can go and check out our Discord. We got channels for Inside Breath of the Wild, for Inside Super Mario Odyssey. We got for, if you are into spoilers,
really
you can
good,
also
yes.
check it. We even got a meme channel.
Yes, so please get your cancer out there.
And go and check it out. So yeah, I think this mostly sums up the news of the week. Apart from it, I don't think there's that much more to talk about. But everyone, thank you so much for showing up. We got 14 more days to the biggest adventure in Hyrule. Get ready for it. The hype is building up, it's getting bigger for each passing day. We'll keep you updated with new news videos in the next week and the week last week leading up to the launch of Breath of the Wild. And hopefully, if we get a review copy, an pre-launch review for the game. So until then, this was Conrad of the Commonwealth Realm, my brother Bernard,
Thank you.
and
Joseph of the Commonwealth Realm, the Queen of the Realm, as they call me on Discord.
And guys, buy the DLC. Don't complain about it. Just try it before you say anything.
Nintendo know what they're doing. So it will
They
be
do.
it will be sublime. It will be great. Okay, guys, we'll see you later. And there's also a Nintendo Switch video coming with a really fun joke about the outrage that was towards the expansion pass. So
Yes.
until then, guys, this was the Commonwealth Realm. We will be also posting this live stream on YouTube when this thing is done processing. That might take some time because it's around 40 minutes long. But then again, you got all the news, you got all the hype, and now let's get ready for another week building up to the launch of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
2 weeks!